Alright guys, welcome to Gaming News Live. You guys might notice something a little different, you know. We're closer together. We're freaking spot on. There's nothing in the effing way. Yeah. Welcome. Gaming News Live. We're gonna move this up here, kinda off camera. Got us some cherry coke and some flavored water. Hopefully you guys are having a good evening this Wednesday night. Look at you, Joe. You're on a 3-stream streak. I like it. Sorry, guys. I had to feed the son, so that's why we're a little late starting the live stream. Kids gotta eat, you know. So, yeah, sorry about that. And sorry about the beginning of the stream. I usually got the microphone on, but I just ain't been feeling right today pretty much. It's just, I don't know. I just been off. I ain't been dialed in. I don't know what's wrong. I just felt weird the last few days. I don't know. It's hard to explain. I had weird stomachache issues. But yeah, welcome you guys. Twitch, Kick, YouTube. You're all here. I don't have to start anything because I didn't have my intro playing. I didn't have to wait until afterwards to start the YouTube stream. So, you guys on YouTube, you're here. Alright guys, let's get this news started because we have a ton of news to... I'm not even joking, guys. We have a ton of news. Oh yeah, better. LOL. Too busy. I've been busy. I don't know if that's why I've been off, but yeah. Setting up everything and stuff, it's... Turn that off. Unless I need it. But I've got my ad counter, so we should be good. Get them all up. I haven't gotten the monitor mount up, but I've got some other stuff I gotta take care of for my son's therapy, and then I'll get to that. It's another thing that's been driving me nuts this week is I've had to go to one psychiatrist for my son, and it's a long story. No need to get all involved in all that. I just had a lot of stuff going on with my son this week. School started back up. Therapies. Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna talk about the news, and then as I'm reading articles, I won't be able to see the live chat. Unfortunately. So at the end of each article, I will really? Come on, man. Over here. Over here, man. There we go. That's better. Okay. Let's get to the news, guys. Because I don't know if you see all these tabs open at the top. But that's all news. Well, not all of it. There's a few tabs at the end on the left side that aren't news. But yeah, most of that's news, so let's get to it. We'll read through the articles, and then after each article, we'll have a nice little chat sesh. That being said, let's get to it. CXMT eyes second Beijing memory fab after record IPO, circling the gap Samsung and Micron left behind. Flush with its cash from the record-setting IPO, China's CXMT is considering building a second memory chip plant in Beijing. CXMT is regularly discussed in the media as a Chinese chip firm that may be able to compete on the global stage due to the ongoing turmoil in the memory chip industry. Reports have suggested that the firm is on its way to being able to produce the latest LPDDR6 and capitalize on Micron and Samsung's focus on HBM memory, which is high bandwidth memory. It's what they use for the AI data centers. CXMT is in its early stage talks to build memory manufacturing facilities in Beijing, says the report. It also says here that CXMT has been in the news over the past couple months due to the reports that have suggested that Apple is interested in buying the firm's memory chips. The global memory shortage has affected the tech giant's supply chain, as it has been unable to secure supplies without having to face price hikes. That's been the problem with all PC builders, myself included. Just the parts, like AI is just making everything crazy. And, I'm having such a headache dealing with it because the price of memory has doubled. There for a while it was triple what we used to have it. It might still be at triple. I ain't actually looked at the RAM prices lately, but I know I heard something about a Corsair DDR5 kit hitting the lowest price it's seen in a while. So you might want to look that up. I will try to look it up myself, and if you all are interested, I will have the Amazon links for that in the description of this live stream on YouTube. Unfortunately, I can't put those anywhere on Twitch or Kick, so anyway. Yes, other reports have suggested that CXMT's ability to target the global memory market is limited, as the firm has to primarily meet the needs of China's domestic memory market. U.S. sanctions on China, which limit the ability to procure high-end chips and manufacturing equipment, have come at a time when Beijing is aiming towards semiconductor self-sufficiency, despite the capital and knowledge-intensive nature of the industry. According to a fresh report from Reuters, CXMT is interested in building a memory fab in Beijing. The details suggest that the firm is exploring the move before its IPO, and it is in the early stages of the talks. The sources add that CXMT is also seeking support from the Beijing Technological Development Area. The U.S. restrictions and the booming demand for local compute infrastructure have incentivized China's government to prioritize firms such as Huawei. I have no idea how to say that. That company. They're all over Facebook or Amazon, with the hopes of establishing a domestic semiconductor production ecosystem. Today's report follows one that surfaced last week that claimed CXMT was making progress with its LPDDR6 memory chips. These are among the latest in the world, and the sources suggest that the Chinese firm was eager to target the gap left behind when Samsung and Micron decided to say F us and make AI RAM instead. Don't get me started on that. The two are focused on making high bandwidth memory HBM chips for the AI data centers. CXMT hopes to utilize the gap they've left to establish itself as a player in the global memory market. The sector is currently dominated by the two firms plus Korea's SK Hynix, which control the vast majority of the market share. And that's about it for that article. So let's chit chat, guys. Most of their chips came from Taiwan. Yeah, I mean, but isn't that still in China? Or no, that's in Vietnam, isn't it? I don't fucking know. Either way, I don't think CXMT is going to be the answer, because I've seen too many reports of the early CXMT memory chips that they've came out with are more expensive than the freaking SK Hynix, Samsung, and Micron chips. And don't get me wrong, like, there's a huge gap in the market right now with all the big players making HBM memory that, like, if somebody had enough money, they could spit up the plant. I mean, you can't spit up a plant fucking within like a couple weeks or whatnot, but, you know. Well, I don't know, Elon Musk might, but... but, yeah. I don't foresee, like... I have hopes for CXMT. I mean, I hope they do well. Hopefully they can place themselves in the market somewhere in that gap. I have a feeling there's going to be other players on the board here soon that are going to follow CXMT's strategy. Start building more chips for us gamers and PC builders and stuff, because, well, we need RAM 2 AI, jackasses. Anyway. Yeah. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how this goes, but I have a feeling there's going to be more than just CXMT that's going to fill that gap that they left behind. The question is, what's going to happen when the HBM isn't needed so much anymore? Is there still going to be room for the big players? We'll see. Right now, I just want fucking cheaper memory. I don't care how I get it. That's why that PC that I got for sale only has 16 gigs of DDR5. Because a 32 gig kit of DDR5 goes for about $350 to $400. That's if you're lucky. Alright. Let's get to the next article, because, well, we gotta keep it moving, guys. You guys feel free to hit me up in that live chat. I might not be able to see it while I'm reading articles, but I do come right back to it as soon as I'm done reading articles, and I will catch up on the chat when I get back to the chat from the articles. That being said, let's keep it going. Next on the list, AMD's next-gen RDNA 5 GPUs. Specs, performance, price, everything we know so far. Another article by WCCF Tech. AMD's next-gen GPU architecture, potentially called the RDNA 5 or UDNA series, is expected to be a pivotal shift from Team Red in terms of the strategy in place, since based on what we know until now, AMD isn't eyeing for Nvidia's 90 series killer. Instead, RDNA 5 will be built upon the foundation set by the previous generation, which is catering entirely to the enthusiast segment. There's a lot of talk about RDNA 5/UDNA, but before we dive into it, let's take a look at what AMD's did with RDNA 4. With the RX 9000 series, we saw a radical shift in AMD's consumer GPU strategy, where the firm decided not to compete with Nvidia's high-end GPUs. Rather, Team Red was committed to catering to the enthusiast segment and, more importantly, capitalizing on the more mainstream consumer base. This shift in strategy had a simple motive. AMD realized that competing with Nvidia for the top-end GPU would compromise its progress with the rest of the SKUs. Hence, focusing solely on the budget segment was a more solid option. With the release of the Radeon RX 9070 and the RX 9070 XT, we saw unprecedented demand for these models, driven not only by the attractive pricing, but also attractive pricing. I mean, come on now. AMD's cheaper than Nvidia, no doubt, but they're still their GPUs are still expensive. Trust me, that's a 9070 XT right there. Anyway, now I done lost my freaking place. Oh yeah, attractive pricing, but also by extensive availability and better price to performance figures compared to Nvidia's 60 class and 70 class GPUs. Hence, whether this strategy worked out for the AMD is something our readers will decide, but it suggests that RDNA 5 would be built along similar lines. I'm going to take a little bit of a break here just to let you guys know. I'm not an AMD fanboy. I'm not an Nvidia fanboy. I bought the 9070 XT because, well, for one, it was cheaper. For two, I wanted to give AMD a chance, and I'm glad I did, because between the 7000 series and the 9000 series, it's like night and day. Like the RDNA 4, they did real good with, and if they keep building upon the foundation that the 9000 series is built on, yeah, they could potentially at least catch up to Nvidia. I won't say that they'll be able to knock them down, although I have a feeling Nvidia is gonna give up on GPUs at some point in time and just go all AI at some point in time. Anyway, the unified UDNA platform would enable AMD to offer its products significantly more diversely. Based on past leaks, it appears that the enthusiast GPU market will see a significant upgrade from Team Red. Let's talk about what we're expecting with our RDNA 5 in the terms of the more technical details. Our RDNA 5 is supposed to have a massive boost in compute units, coupled with major architectural upgrades. The early RDNA 5 rumors surfaced in July, allowing us to catch a glimpse at the anticipated architectural configurations. We managed to see 3 different die configurations featuring Navi 5X SKUs. These will be part of the GFX 13 family and are expected to be fabricated on the N3 process node, with rumors hinting at production by Q6 or Q2 of 2026, which would be right about now. So hopefully they're making it right about now. That'd be sweet. I'm actually looking forward to the 10,000 series. I don't know if I'll actually upgrade, but we'll see. Here's how the leak panned them out. The flagship RDNA 5 model is expected to feature a 50% higher CU count compared to the Navi 48, as well as a higher 384-bit memory bus. That's massive, likely given by increased memory capacities on board. This means that AMD is planning to step up the competition relatively to RDNA 4, likely targeting Nvidia's 80 class models a lot more directly. The upgraded memory bus would ensure that the RDNA flagship configuration comes with VRAM capacity higher than 16 gigabytes, utilizing the upgraded GDDR7 architecture. Finally, like that might be enough to make me upgrade the 9070 XT as it is. Like, you know how long AMD's been running off GDDR6, which is what they got in the 9000 series? A long time. The fact that they're finally moving to what Nvidia's been using. I don't know if they had it with 40 series, but I know all the 50 series cards have that. Well, actually, I won't say all of them. I think the 5060 and the 5050 have the GDDR6. Anyway, that one. And more importantly, in terms of the die configuration, RDNA 5 is expected to feature revisions from the ground up, as the firm will switch from the traditional monolithic design to a chiplet structure, although this is still uncertain. With this design change, AMD is said to employ a total of 128 cores per compute unit, which is double the number of cores in RDNA 4. This is why we consider RDNA 5 to be a pivotal release. For the mid-end offering, AMD is expected to offer a 40 CU and a 24 CU configuration featuring 5,120 cores and 3,072 cores respectively. These SKUs will feature a 256 bit memory bus, which is still really freaking good. A configuration similar to that of the RX 9070 XT. The models within this tier are likely to be manufactured to be the manufacturer's bread and butter in terms of consumer GPU sales. With the RX 9000 series, we saw a great reception to what AMD brought on board. Hence, these mid-tier offerings are not to be taken lightly, as I assume that's probably what most of you will want to get. Finally, for the lower end offering, we are looking at the entry level 12 CU die with a 128-bit memory bus. This retains the same configuration as the 9060 series, but once again, the updated architecture, process technology, and the use of higher bandwidth memory can lead to decent uplifts. This memory configuration may appear somewhat outdated, particularly given to the ongoing debate surrounding 8 gigabyte GPUs. However, most of the performance uplift would be attributed to architectural advancements and, of course, GDDR7. See, that GDDR7, that's the key player right there. Unfortunately, that also means that these AMD, I'm assuming 10,000 series cards, are going to be pretty freaking expensive because the memory on GPUs is just like the RAM for our computers. That's why AI is making everything go up, because there's memory chips on almost everything. Alright. Here's what you might see as far as the specifications. We just went over this. It's just in a graph, so you guys can kind of visually see what I was talking about. It's looking nice, like I gotta say, especially with that flagship tier having 24 to 32 gigabytes of VRAM, anywhere from a 512 to a 384-bit bus. Look at all them cores. Now, I wouldn't suggest that kind of GPU for everybody. Me, the only reason I get it is because, well, my gaming PC ain't just my gaming PC, it's what I make my content with, so the more VRAM the better. And the cores and compute units doesn't hurt either. One of the main highlights from AMD's upcoming RDNA lineup is likely to be the set of announcements the firm disclosed when discussing the future of the PlayStation SoC. AMD's RDNA architecture will feature 3 new sets of compute elements, which are as follows: neural arrays, a collection of compute units configured to share the process data to work together like a single AI engine. Radiance cores, the new dedicated ray traversal hardware is Radiance cores, new dedicated ray traversal hardware to deliver high-performance real-time ray tracing and path tracing. Sweet, sounds great. Because that's one thing the 9000 series still struggled with. I haven't tried it lately, but maybe they've made it a lot better with the new drivers and stuff, but they still struggle with the path and ray tracing, especially the path tracing. Like when I first got the 9070 XT, I tried to play Indiana Jones, and I turned the path tracing and ray tracing on. I about crashed my computer. Universal compression, a new system that evaluates compresses all available data within the GPU to dramatically reduce memory bandwidth usage. Wow, now that sounds interesting. That sounds really interesting. But the compressing of the data in the GPU, it's going to reduce memory bandwidth usage, but wouldn't it cause some latency? Anyway, how long is this article? Like this? Holy crap! Okay, we're gonna have to speed through this a little bit. Radiance cores are directly targeted towards enabling faster real-time ray tracing and path tracing gaming, while neural arrays are referred to as a collection of CUs for applications like neural rendering, which means that the next generation upscaling technology are expected to see massive upgrades, as well as finally universal compression refers to the algorithm that compresses data available in the GPU to reduce. I already went over this, damn it. Says we got 3 different code names for the architecture: Alpha Trion, Ultra Magnus, or Orion Pax. When the code names first emerged, there were numerous possibilities on the types of lineups they indicated. However, now that the leak has matured, they have a decent idea of how these code names might be arranged. The Alpha Trion, being the oldest of the pack, represents AMD's consumer GPU lineup, and its D GPUs are mainstream choice among the company's offerings. Ultra Magnus, known as the Frontier Soldier within the Transformers, is focused on Xbox next gen consoles, pretty much, while Orion Pax is designed for the next PlayStation chips. We're not going to talk a whole lot about PlayStation during this news. We've been going on about PlayStation for the last couple of weeks on the weekly gaming news. This week we've kind of toned it down on the PlayStation. I'm tired of getting aggravated talking about their ridiculous freaking decision. Anyway, when the code names, oh okay, I already read that. The expected price and release date. Until now, we haven't seen details emerge regarding the pricing of the RDNA 5 models. However, based on the architectural upgrades AMD plans to introduce, we could see MSRPs exceed the previous barrier set by RDNA 3. The firm released the RX 7900 XTX with a price tag of $1,000, and that was the last high tier release from AMD. So based on this estimate, seeing the top end RDNA 5 ARC configuration for around 1,000 to 1,500 is a safe bet. I'm betting closer to 1,500 just because of the stupid memory crap, especially if it wants to stack up as a rival to the Nvidia's 80 class series. And of course, we're expected to receive a few hints here and there at major events such as CES 2026 and Computex 2026, which I don't know why they're mentioning that, because that shit already happened. And we didn't get much from AMD when it came to Computex and CES, so based on the new rumor, it claimed that AMD plans to release its next-gen RDNA 5 GPUs by H2 of 2027. This means that in 2026 we wouldn't see any consumer GPUs from Team Red, marking a major disappointment for gamers. According to the rumor, AMD has already tapped out its next generation lineup on TSMC's N3P process technology, which is a step up from the N4P node used in the existing RDNA 4 lineup. The delay in launch primarily stems from the ongoing memory shortage, which have made it challenging for manufacturers to secure capacity, leading to delays in product launches. And in the second update, they said that AMD's RDNA 5 GPU lineup is already in turmoil with the ongoing memory shortages, and now, according to a new rumor, it is believed that the flagship model in the series, labeled as AT0, would be available to gamers in limited quantity. This will be similar to the Radeon 7, which featured a refreshed Vega 7nm GPU. The chip used by Radeon 7 was designed for the HPC segment first, but repurposed for gamers. And in the latest update, AMD's RDNA 5 GPU lineup has slipped to late 2027 now, or even early 2028, as memory shortages continue to impact the PC market. Even if AMD re-enters the enthusiast grade race, the firm would likely do so with limited availability for gamers, suggesting that we will see RDNA 5 with a similar focus to RDNA 4, targeting the mainstream consumer segment. We will update this product as soon as more information is available. That's all we got for that article. Thank goodness we made it to the end, guys. Now I can catch up on live chat. John, what's going on, buddy? And good to see you here. What's up, homie? What's today's Tech Thursday? What? No, it's Weekly Gaming News Wednesday. Tomorrow is Throwback Thursday, where we will be playing some more Metal Gear Rising. Hopefully, well, ain't no hopefully to it. One way or frick another, we're getting to the end of this damn game tomorrow night. Because I need to take a step back and just do 3 live streams a week so I can get back to getting my content pumping out. Yeah, I need more content that you guys can watch that isn't hours long. And right now I'm really struggling with having enough time for everything, although if I didn't work 2 jobs and then do this, I'd be golden. John's on his own 3-stream streak. You and PR Joe are in the same boat. You both got 3 stream streaks. Congrats. Alright, I'm not seeing anything else in the live chat, so we're going to keep firing off because, well, you guys see all these tabs open up here. I'm surprised my streaming PC ain't like screaming at me. So let's get to it. What's next? According to Tom's Hardware, 10 years later, the iconic GTX 1080 Ti still holds up in 1080p gaming, but not without showing its age. Redux testing highlights the wonders of 11 gigabytes of VRAM and the woes of time. I don't know a whole lot about 1080 Ti. I know it's definitely what they say, a card worthy of the GOAT status. Currently, the GPU powering this streaming PC is its slightly little brother, the 1070 Ti. Unfortunately, the 1070 Ti did not come with 11 gigabytes of VRAM. So yeah, we're still running the stream with 8 gigabytes of VRAM. Don't roast me too much in the live chat. It's all I could afford at the time. Few names echo in the aisles of tech cathedrals like the legendary GTX 1080 Ti, released by Nvidia all the way back in 2017. The GPU is based on the GP102, actually debuted a year earlier in 2016, which is why this story is titled as A Decade Old Hindsight. And PC Games hardware just retested all three cards based on the GP102, and I can verify that I know for a fact that 1080 Ti can still game very well in 1080p. That 1070 Ti that's in this streaming PC can do the same thing. I've actually played games on the streaming PC with that 1070 Ti, and it still pumps out 60 frames a second. Like it shows its age when you're playing like new titles and shit, because, well, as you guys might know, Nvidia stopped the driver support for the 10 series last year, I think it was. So unfortunately, we don't get no new drivers, but it still does pretty good if you're not playing like Indiana Jones and shit. At its launch, or hold on, they retested all cards based on the GP102, pitting them against far more efficient modern offerings. To answer a simple question, how well does the 1080 Ti hold up in 2026? At its launch, the GTX 1080 Ti cost $700 and used a cut-down version of the GP102 called GP102-400, while the Titan XP that released a month later enjoyed the full fat GP102-450 silicon. Built on the Pascal architecture, the 1080 Ti featured 3,580 CUDA cores that could boost up to a whopping 1.58 gigahertz. 11 gigabytes of ultra-fast GDDR5X memory, saturated across a 352-bit wide bus. Now that's pretty nice. That's probably the main reason why it still holds up, is that bit bus. And the 11 gigabytes of GDDR5X isn't terrible, but it's probably definitely showing its age, I'm sure. As I think that's the same kind of, pretty sure the 1070 Ti I got in the streaming PC has that same kind of memory. I just only got 8 instead of 11, but. And it also had a 250 watt TDP. It was the last consumer flagship Nvidia made with pure rasterization in mind, which I can vouch for that. There's no, the 10 series is the last one that didn't, it was the last one before they started introducing frame gen and other stuff to help their frames. We won't go into the whole discussion whether they're fake or real, you know. Fuck, fake. Sorry. Not feeling well today. Jumping to the results, we see the 1080 Ti still pushes close to 60 FPS in modern titles at 1080p resolution. However, it's slower than even the current gen RTX 5050. Damn. That kind of sucks. That kind of makes me want to sell the 1070 Ti and get a 5050. Yeah, I don't want a 5050. That just don't even sound good. And it's unable to beat any recent 60 series GPU as well. What? and it's unable to beat any recent 60 series GPU as well. What 60 series GPU are you guys talking about, right? Well, I mean, there's some I think they came out with the 6000 Pro series, but that wasn't like new. I don't know if you'd technically call that a 60 series GPU. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe they're talking about maybe they meant to say 60 class GPU as well. Anyway, you have to go as far back as the RX 6600 and the RTX 3060 8GB to find something that the 1080 Ti edges out. Speaking of which, it is still faster than the Radeon 7 that came out 2 years later and matches the relative performance of the Titan X, while the Titan XP clearly clears it comfortably. Here you guys can see a chart. Well, I don't know how good you guys can see that, but really, jackass, get out of my way. Away. Anyway, the top of the chart is actually the RX 7600 with 52 frames per second. Wow. I got one of those over on my backstock shelf. The Radeon 6700 pumped out a whopping 52 FPS, and the 4060 as well. You gotta go all the way down to the middle here, where the 1070 Ti pumps out a whopping 45 FPS. That don't sound right at all. Maybe they were playing like brand spanking new modern titles that didn't have the 10 series didn't have driver support for. Anyway, it's right above that Titan X as far as performance goes. They're actually neck to neck, both pumping out 45 FPS. Anyway, as you'd expect, the older the game, the better the 1080 Ti performs, though its large VRAM buffers helps it win in some areas. For instance, it's barely faster than the aforementioned RTX 3060 in Assassin's Creed Shadows, Battlefield 6, Days Gone, or Baldur's Gate 3. The X4 timelines and Spider-Man 2 are surprise cases where it's faster than even the RTX 4060 or RX 7600. Wow. Damn. Stalker 2 was the only game where the 1080 Ti managed to beat the RTX 5060 as well, once again because of the extra memory. Damn. And I mean, I don't know too many people that play Stalker 2, but the fact that any game nowadays, the 1080 can actually beat the 5060 in, that's pretty massive right there. Definitely earns the GOAT title. In recent titles, reliance on technologies like upscaling and ray tracing severely hurt the king of the bygone master-only era. DLSS and ray tracing were both mocked at the time they debuted, but have become integral parts of the industry now. Pascal lacks any tensor or dedicated ray tracing cores, forcing it to fall back to software emulation, which is basically unplayable. Doom: The Dark Ages and the new Indiana Jones game wouldn't even boot on this GPU. Damn! What did I just get done telling you guys about the freaking Indiana Jones game? I'm not surprised at all that it wouldn't boot with the 10 series GPU. Like that damn thing made my brand new 9070 XT crash when I turned the ray tracing and path tracing on. So, well, it didn't crash. I mean, I was still in game, but I was not getting good frames at all. It was unplayable, even though I was getting frames. Some. A few. That's the end of that article. They keep going on about other GPUs down here. But yeah, it's not surprising that the 1080 Ti struggles. I am really surprised that it actually beat the 5060 in anything. But y'all hit me up in that live chat. I keep coming back to live chat and I'm not seeing nothing. Twitch, kick, YouTube, live chat. Oh shit, I've been missing freaking ads. I'm sorry, guys. I know I missed at least the first ad break. We're 9 minutes away from the next ad break though. So let's get back to the news. Y'all hit me up in that live chat. Stop being so quiet. Yeah, next. Leaked Xbox roadmap claims disc to digital launches in August, which is this month. Xbox 360 rollout starts in 2027. We're not going to go too far off the deep end when we're talking about the whole disc to digital and going discless and crap. Xbox was one of the first ones to start this whole discless stuff, and I'm kind of surprised, but they're also the first ones to give us a fucking way to convert our disc into digital format or whatnot. Let's dive into it. And that alleged Microsoft roadmap sent to publishers has revealed the planned schedule for Xbox disc to digital and the expanded backwards compatibility program. The images were shared by Extras One, as Microsoft has not confirmed the document or its dates. The roadmap lists July 2026 as the public beta period for disc to digital and an early release of original Xbox games on PC, which that Xbox games on PC has already happened. Microsoft launched 4 original Xbox games on PC and handhelds on July 22nd, just a few weeks back, including Blink's The Time Sweeper, Conquer Live and Reloaded, and Crimson Sky's High Road to Revenge, and Fusion Frenzy. I think the only one of these games that I used to play might have been that Crimson Skies, but I don't really remember. Like, I haven't always been in the Xbox, so that would have probably been the only one I think I would have played though. The disc to digital reportedly launches this month in August. According to the leaked schedule, disc to digital will become generally available to Xbox One and Xbox Series X owners in August. And Microsoft employees were previously reported to be testing the feature under references to disc to digital found in the Xbox PC application. Here's the roadmap as it was in July 20. That's not what I was trying to do. Okay, apparently I can't highlight. Okay. Fine. I won't highlight. July 2026, disc to digital insider public beta, back compatible early access, original Xbox titles. August of 2026, general availability of disc to digital and ships to all Xbox One and Series X owners. In case you're wondering why why it's Xbox One and Series X owners and not Series S and X owners is, well, I'm sure you guys probably know, but the Series S don't have a disk drive, so you can't really roll disk to digital something that don't take a disk. Back compat in October of 2026. Back compat on PC full launch. Original Xbox titles on PC via Game Pass or the Xbox Story. What the fuck? And from 2027 to 2028, the Xbox 360 catalog will gradually roll out across next-gen Xbox devices. For both programs, Xbox manages all engineering, certification, and support efforts. You, the publisher, keep full control over rights, pricing, and brand. Your only lift is opting in and setting what? Both programs reactive dormant SKUs unlock new audiences on PC and handheld and create a ready-made re-release opportunities. No porting efforts required, which is pretty nice. The system reportedly grants the digital entitlement after a compatible Xbox One or Series X disc is inserted into the console. The license remains linked to that specific disc. Selling or lending the disc would therefore transfer the entitlement to its new user rather than create a permanent digital copy for the original owner. The leaked publisher message claims that Xbox will handle engineering, certification, and support. Publishers would retain control over rights, pricing, branding, while deciding whether to participate. Xbox 360 catalog reportedly follows in 2027. The roadmap lists October 2026 as the full launch of backwards compatibility on PC. Microsoft describes the program in early release and a full Xbox 360 catalog coming next year or the year after. Yeah, that's all we got for that. I'm going to go ahead and fire off into the next one, and I will, or actually, no, I won't. Are we in it? We're 2 minutes away from that, guys. No, you know what? Let me see what the next article is. If it's something I think I can speed through, then we'll rapid fire it off and then talk about it during the live chat party. Oh yeah, gaming on a 4GB RX 6500 XT or a GTX 1650 Super in 2026. Upscaling makes low-end GPUs viable for esports and internet cafes. Does 4GB of VRAM equal an instant performance cliff? As memory supplies get tighter and tighter, graphics card prices continue to rise. Things are getting weirder and weirder in the discrete GPU market. The latest sign of the times is AMD's launch of the 9050 4GB, which is just an OEM model. I know we talked about this. Damn it, freaking stream music. I'm trying to talk here. Alright, damn stream music. I know we talked about the 9050 last week, and just so you guys know, that's an OEM only GPU, so the manufacturers, the computer manufacturers are the only ones actually getting the 9050 4GB. So if you get a PC with a 9050 in it, pay attention to the gigabytes of VRAM. We're not going to be able to rapid fire this one off after all. So I'm sure we're a few seconds. Yeah, we're like 20 seconds from the ad break. Live chat party, guys. That's what we do when Twitch has ads. We hit the live chat party up. See, ads. Anyway, it says ads starting soon over here. But then it says, see, Cadet's right. That damn, something's wrong with my widget. Damn it, freaking, oh, what's his name? Nutty. Damn it, Nutty, your widget's effing up my stream, bro. I don't even fucking know where's that now. Is it that one? I think so. Let's hope it is. Yeah, that's it. No, I didn't mean to get rid of it. Son of a bitch. Alright, live chat party. I know most of you guys can't hear me, but live chat party, damn it. Alright, we're back from the ad break. So, thank you guys for watching the ads on Twitch. They are the easiest way to help support the channel. But if you want to watch the channel without ads, consider hitting that subscribe button. It is the only way to watch without ads on Twitch. Sorry, guys. Live chat party over. Let's get back to the news. Let me bring it back. Well, actually, hold on a second. You guys on Twitch and Kick, if you're enjoying this live stream, make sure you hit that follow button so you know when I go live again. And, what in the hell? Alright. And if you're watching on YouTube, you guys know the drill over there. Hit that like button. Pushes this live stream out to more people like you that want to see it. And hit that subscribe button, because, you know, it's the only way to know when I go live. Well, actually, you gotta hit the bell icon too, but, you know, you can't do that without hitting the subscribe button, so hit them both. Only the one time, though. Alright, let's get back to it, guys. Bam! Bring the news back. Alright. Let's get back to the news, guys. As memory supplies get tighter and tighter, we read that part. If 4GB GPUs are coming back, we wanted to see how much gamers should expect to suffer by attempting to play the latest games on graphics cards with such small memory pools. For reference, the last time AMD launched a new 4GB product was all the way back in 2022 with the RX 6500 XT and the RX 6400. I didn't even know they came out with a 6400. That one had the suck ass. And at least for discrete GPUs, Nvidia got off the 4GB train years earlier after the launch of the GTX 1650 Super back in 2019. At a minimum, most every discrete GPU since has had 6GB or 8GB of VRAM. AMD says the existing RX 9050 8GB is meant for 1080p medium gameplay with no further details about settings, upscaling. So the bar is already set low for that one. Before the 9050 4GB cuts the bus width and memory bandwidth in half, despite the cutting edge RDNA 4 GPU architecture. The RTX or the RX 9050 4GB has a meager 64-bit memory bus and a mere 144 gigabytes a second of memory bandwidth, specs that would have been low end even 10 years ago. I don't even know why they came out with this card. I know we talked a lot about it last week, and I told you guys never to buy a GPU with 4GB of VRAM, and I stand behind that. Don't buy this card. But from what I've been told, it's only for OEMs, so you guys don't have to worry about being able to buy the card. You just gotta watch out when you're buying a pre-built. Don't buy a pre-built with a 4GB 9050. Spend a little extra money. Get the 9060 at least. But the 9050 brings support for FSR 4 to even the lowest rung of the discrete graphics ladder. And its more advanced machine learning power upscaling model should deliver a massive leap in image quality compared to the temporal approach of FSR 3 in the early generations. Upscaling is likely going to be key to achieving playable performance in all but the most lightweight games on 4GB cards. So it's totally insane that AMD has released a 4GB graphics card in 4GB graphics card in 2026. Does that tiny VRAM pool make the graphics card useless for gaming? We don't have an RX 9050 at 4GB at hand, but we do happen to have a 6500 XT and a GTX 1650 Super. So they tested those, and this is what we found out. To track the memory usage, they used HW or HWinFo 64 and logged both its GPU D3D dedication and D3D dynamic parameters. If the GPU reports a large dynamic memory allocation, it's a good sign of spilling out of VRAM. Alright, let's get to it. they started their testing with Fortnite, which needs no introduction. It showcases the most advanced features of Unreal Engine 5. And with the 4GB cards, it was able to... Where's the FPS, damn it? I don't feel like reading that whole thing. Oh, they don't tell you the exact frame rates. Really? Yeah, it says even though those delivered frame rates might seem acceptable, you didn't say anything about frame rate, damn it. Like they go in, they start talking about DirectX 12 and ray tracing support, which was like not even. Oh, here we go. Here's a chart from Tom's Hardware. The 6500 XT got 77 FPS in the 1% lows and got a whopping 86.5%. Which, for Fortnite, that's really shitty, but that is what it is. But it happened to beat the GTX 1650 Super, which only got 76 FPS with 58 FPS in 1% lows. And the RX 6500 XT with Lumen on, it dropped all the way down to 56 FPS with 45 FPS, 1% lows. Then they tested Apex Legends. Similar, the 6500 beats the 1650 Super with, well, wow, they actually got 120 frames per second with the 6500 and 116 FPS in Apex Legends on a 4GB graphics card. That's kind of impressive. I mean, it still sucks as far as like Apex Legends concerned. Like, but I mean, it's still playable. I'd assume. Next, they tested Cyberpunk 2077. Oh shit. And this time the GTX 1650 Super beat the 6500 XT. Not a real big surprise with how much they utilize ray tracing and stuff. Not that either one of those cards have that, but oh, actually, they might have the ray tracing. I don't remember. Anyway, the 1650 pumped out a 66 FPS, while the 6500 XT pumped out 57 FPS. And in Counter-Strike, they both got over 100 FPS. Not bad. Now we're gonna get to the bottom line. Just stone cold shit's up. Across the handful of titles we tested, gaming with just 4 gigabytes of VRAM isn't the instant performance cliff you might expect in 2026. But it also requires careful finessing of quality and upscaling settings to achieve not just playable performance, but also tolerable input latency. Once you've done that, though, it's possible to have a perfectly fun time on hardware that would make most people turn their noses at first glance. Judging by our experience with the RX 6500 XT and GTX 1650 Super, upscaling will be key to the best experience with the 9050 4GB, and its support for FSR4 will be a huge image quality improvement for the low-end PCs. The 9050 also brings much higher ray tracing performance to the table compared to the RDNA 2 and RDNA 3 products, and if games are as widely played as Fortnite finally start to lean on ray tracing acceleration to enable their most advanced lighting effects. That's another useful technical upgrade for enabling the best experience, even on low-end products. We're sure that some modern AAA games would be totally unplayable on these 4GB cards. Indiana Jones. You want to see a computer blow up? Try to play Indiana Jones with 4GB of VRAM. Well, the computer might not blow up, but you might blow that 9050 to fucking bits. Anyway, that's about the end of the bottom line. I'm going to go ahead and fire off another article before we get back to the live chat, because, well, I was kind of in the middle of that one when we came back from live chat party anyway, so and we still got a ton of freaking, like, it don't even seem like I've, like, even begin to touch these tabs. Whatever in the heck this company's name is, that company turns a single PCIe slot into a 12 ports using a AMD 650 chip. No bifurcation needed? Okay. As I said, that company has introduced a unique AMD 650 chipset powered PCIe expansion slot card that adds multiple M.2 SATA and USB ports through single PCIe Gen 4x4 connections. I actually have one of these cards in a drawer down under this desk. I didn't buy it for either one of these two. I actually bought it for the network PC, because the network PC's I'm running servers on there, as well as it being backup. It's pretty much a NAS and a Plex server. I might try to run a Minecraft server here soon. Sounds kind of fun. But yeah, I got one of those cards, and I bought it for the network PC. I just haven't put it in there. But it does give you like at least 2, if not 3 or 4 extra M.2 slots. This one actually gives you like SATA ports and all that other good shit too. It ends up turning into a full-fledged storage and connectivity hub. That Chinese hardware maker that I can't pronounce unveiled a new PCIe add-in card that brings chipset like expansion capabilities. The card is powered by AMD's B650 chipset and is designed to expand the single PCIe Gen 4x4 slot into multiple storage and USB connections without needing a motherboard PCIe lane bifurcation support. Right. Then they go into the whole technical jargon, which I'm sure you guys might not care about this part, but you guys are definitely probably going to care about this part, so I will read it. This includes 4x M.2 PCIe SSD slots, 4x SATA 3 6GB per second ports, and 1x USB Type-C 20GB a second port, which that's really cool that you can add that and it actually be part of the computer and stuff. One thing I will want to cut avoid. Damn it. Maybe that's why I'm off. Freaking tired. Anyway. Although I ain't felt good either. But anyway. back to the article. One thing I do want to stress to you guys, if you do decide to buy one of these cards that gives you extra SSD slots, SATA ports, Type C ports, they might advertise 20 gigabytes a second, 6 gigabytes a second, and so on and so forth. And it also comes with 2 USB Type A 10 gigabyte ports and another Type C 10 gigabyte port. Either way, they might advertise 10 gigabytes a second, 20 gigabytes a second, whatever the case may be. And it's running off, well, this one's running off a B650 chipset, which is going to make it transfer pretty much as fast as it's supposed to. But if you, depending on what slot you use on the motherboard, it could dramatically change the performance of how fast you transfer data to the SSDs and stuff that are hooked up to that card. As always, if you got the slots on the motherboard, just use the motherboard. Only use these cards if you absolutely need that much. Like in the server PC, I need as much storage as I can get in that sumbitch so I can back up all my stuff. Content creation, personal stuff, all that good stuff. I need lots of storage, and well, that thing can house at least 2 to 4 M.2, so yeah. Alright, let's get to the, well, actually that's about the end of that article. Yeah, that's the end of that article, so let me check on the live chat right quick. Nobody's hitting me up in the live chat. Twitch, Kick, YouTube, come on guys, hit me up in that live chat. I am periodically coming back from the articles and checking on the live chat. So at the end of the articles, I will come back and catch up on live chat. But so far, I haven't had to catch up because you guys ain't freaking talking to me, man. Alright guys, let's get back to the news because I'm freaking exhausted. I'm starting to see the light at the end of the tab tunnel. Wait a minute, what is this? Okay. Seen the ad, it threw me all off. Xbox price hikes are now in effect worldwide. Get ready to pay more, and I mean more. Y'all might want to sit down if you're not already sitting down. Buying a new Xbox just got a lot more expensive in the US, Europe, and the UK. Previously announced Xbox Series X and S price hikes are now in effect and have been since August 1st, and people should expect to pay significantly more. Yeah, significantly. In the US, all 512 gigabyte Xbox models went up by $100, while the 1 terabyte systems are now $150 more expensive. All 2 terabyte models have been discontinued. You can see all the new US prices right here, and I will highlight them for you guys. The new price for the Xbox Series X 512 gigabyte model, $500. That's the same one I've got over there. At least I'm pretty sure that's the 512 gigabyte model. I might be wrong. It might be the 1 terabyte, but I don't think it is. I bought that thing for like no, it's 300, I think, when it first came out. Now it's 500. Damn AI. Anyway, Xbox Series S 1 terabyte is now $600. I can build you a PC that would probably run better than that Series S 1 terabyte for $600. Granted, I don't know if I'd be able to squeeze a 1 terabyte drive in there, but possibly could. And it'd probably compare graphics wise to the Series S as well. You might get about the same FPS. I don't know, Series S might pump out a few extra frames. But anyway, Xbox Series X 1 terabyte digital edition, $750. That is effing insane. At that point in time, you might as well just buy a PlayStation Pro. And just speaking of the PlayStation Pro, if you thought that was expensive, the Xbox Series X 1 terabyte with a disk drive, hallelujah, $800. In Europe, the cheapest new Xbox, the 512 gigabyte Series S, is going up from $350 to $500. So, yeah, those are the new prices. It's pretty much the same in Europe. It's just, I think you guys call them pounds over there, I believe. So yeah, that's going to be the new prices going forward. In the UK and Europe, all seen price hikes similar to the US. Oh, it also says down here, I missed this part. It says Microsoft along with Sony and Nintendo are set to receive tariff refunds, and none of the companies have announced any plans to return any money to consumers who paid more beyond the tariff-related impacts. The ongoing AI-fueled memory and component shortages are expected to continue, and another Xbox price hike could come in 2027. I don't know if they could, they're talking about another price hike coming in 2022 due to these shortages and stuff, but seriously, if these consoles get any more expensive, you guys might as well come over here and join the PC master race. I mean, if you're gonna spend that much, you might as well get fucking hundreds of frames and not 30 or 60. In response to the new higher prices for the Xbox consoles, Microsoft rolled out new buy now, pay later with 0% APR financing options. Microsoft also sells certified refurbished Xbox consoles for lower prices. As for other consoles, the PS5 got its latest price hike this past April, while the Switch 2 is getting a price hike in September. But I hear the price hike on the Switch 2 is not supposed to be that as bad as PlayStation and Xbox have been doing with their consoles. I'm just going to move on to the next one, guys. Xbox reveals Game Pass games, the first wave of Game Pass games for August 2026. And Xbox Game Pass gets several big names in August. Xbox Game Pass for August Wave 1 games. Available today, you can jump into some old school first person spellcasting action with Heretic and Hexen. A re-release of the classic shooter, each game has been updated with several new features and enhancements. While we weren't blown away by it, you can still check it out. Check out the day one release of Game Freak's Beast of Reincarnation, an action RPG set in a harsh but beautiful post-apocalyptic world. Starting on August 6th, things heat up with Monsters Are Coming to Game Pass Premium, the return of Power Wash Simulator. Okay. I just got a quick question for you guys. What the hell is going on with all these simulators? Like, why? Like, I get the flight simulator and shit, because that's kind of cool. You get to fly a plane. Most of us can't fly a plane, you know? It's all good. But we got a lawn mowing simulator, we got a goat simulator, we got a power wash simulator. I mean, this is stuff that we can do. Like, you can go outside and do it yourself. Touch some grass. You know? Like, oh no. Me, I prefer my games to have action and be fun, and I don't know. No offense if you guys like Power Wash Simulator, but it's just not my cup of tea. Really, none of those simulators are. But you guys tell me, what's up with all those simulators? And the early access launch of Gears of War E-Day Beta. Remember, if you want in, you'll need to pre-order the game or have an Xbox Game Pass Ultimate / PC Game Pass subscription. Otherwise, you'll need to wait till August 13th for the open beta to begin. Oh, sweet. So I can actually play that now. I might have to check that out. Once the dust has settled from those arrivals, you can check out Bounty Star and Date Everything when they hit Game Pass on August 11th. Bounty Star is an over-the-shoulder 3D action game themed around combat and farming. And now available through Game Pass Premium, while Date Everything lives up to its name by allowing you to romance everything from your bed to your smoke alarm. What? Who are fortunately all presented as anthropomorphic beings. Grounded 2 will also be available through Xbox Game Pass Premium as it continues its early access journey. I'm just gonna forget I've read that whole Date Everything thing, because it's just fucking weird. No offense to anybody that is looking forward to that game, but that game sounds really odd. But if that's your cup of tea, go for it. On August 12th, the Game Pass Premium gates open for a brick-breaking and base-building fun of Ball X Pit Cricket 2026. Task you with using your balls to break some wickets instead. And you don't have to miss out on the brand crafted Metrovania Mio Memories in orbit when it arrives on August 13th. It's worth noting that Ball X Pit and Mio Memories of Orbit have been available through Xbox Game Pass for a while now, but they're being added to the lower tier subscription service as well this month. So if you're not paying for the premium Mac Daddy edition, you finally get access to that game. There'll also be, hold on. Yeah, there's also a day one release of Sandustry to look forward to, and a sneak peek of August's second wave of games, you can guide a fragile egg through a gauntlet in danger, or gauntlet of danger in egging on. There's also 4 games leaving Game Pass on August 15th, so you only have a few more days, maybe a week left to play titles like Aliens, Fireteam Elite, and Firewatch. On August 4th, Heretic and Hexen. Then Beast of Reincarnation. Then on August 6th is when we get the Gears of War, which is tomorrow. Monsters are coming in the Power Wash Simulator 2. That's a sequel? I didn't even see the 2 when I read it the first time. Okay. Alright guys, moving on. On August 11th you get Bounty Star, Date Everything, Grounded 2. On August 12th you get Ball X-Bit. On August 13th you get Cricket 26 and the Mio Memories of Orbit game. August 18th you get Egging On. After that we will see what the second round of games in August brings. I mean, they already put Gears of War E-Day in there, so I don't think it really matters what else they put in there now. So I have a feeling everybody's gonna be playing that Gears of War game. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but it's been a hot minute since we've gotten a Gears of War game. How are we doing ad-wise? For 2 minutes? Oh, ad in progress? Alright, sorry guys. I'm gonna take a real quick bathroom break while the ads are playing. Sorry you guys. I'm still working on, I'm gonna create a little widget that tells me audio wise that there's an ad coming up or whatnot. I'll replace Cadet with a widget. Alright guys, I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Gaming news, weekly gaming news Wednesday is not over yet. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Thank you for watching the ads. I'll be right back, guys. Alright guys, we're back. What happened to my live stream music? Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, we're back from the break. Oh, my widget's still broken, I think. It says we still got ads, but my counter says we don't. So let me check. No. No, we're back from the ads. Okay. Let's get back to the news then. That was all for this article. Sorry, you guys. For those of you that were watching an ad and everything, I will quickly go over these games one more time. Just because I don't know if you were in the ad, how long you were in the ad when I was reading this. On August 4th, you get Heretic and Hexen and you also get Beast of Reincarnation for pretty much everything. You don't get Beast of Reincarnation for premium Game Pass, I guess. You have to have the Ultimate Game Pass or PC Game Pass. August 6th, you get Gears of War E-Day, which is tomorrow, the open beta, early access. If you have Game Pass Ultimate or PC Game Pass, you get access to the open beta. I might actually check that out because I don't think I've ever played a Gears of War game, but they've always looked interesting. Monsters are coming also out on tomorrow, and also Power Wash Simulator 2. And then on August 11th, Bounty Star, Date Everything, and Grounded 2. On August 12th, you get Ball X Pit. On August 13th, you get Cricket 26, Mio Memories of Orbit, and Sandustry. And then on August 18th, you get Egging On. Hopefully, they've got something there for you guys to play. Then after that, we'll see the second wave of August 2026 games, which I'll be reporting on here in a couple weeks. Maybe next week, I don't know. Next, 3 major PC makers now using the CXMT RAM as the fight for unprecedented memory. The 3 PC makers now using Chinese memory to fight unprecedented memory shortage, report claims HP, Asus, and Acer using small amounts of CXMT chips and limited number of notebooks for non-US market. CXMT's rise continues as they now are getting some of the actual pre-built PC market. As the global AI-induced memory shortage continues to bite in PC makers scramble to get their hands on supply while keeping costs down. A new report claims that PC makers HP, Asus, and Acer have started using a small amount of Chinese memory made by CXMT, according to Nikkei Asia. Hopefully I said that right. The limited utilization extends to notebooks for non-US markets, probably because of the tariffs and regulations between US and China. I'm not real sure. According to the report, many major PC makers have completed the qualification process for CXMT DRAM recently and have started to use it in limited amount in their notebook computers. Citing sources familiar with the matter, the report further states that the vendors are using a very limited number of CXMT chips in the equally small number of notebook models. Furthermore, these notebook models are purportedly not destined for sale in the US market. The restraint is natural given CXMTs is listed by the Pentagon as having ties to China's military. However, the report cites sources who also claim that PC makers are being cautious not to upset the big three memory makers in Micron, Samsung Electronics, and SK Hynix. I could see that. They don't want to screw up their main supply. The report describes the development, which has not been officially confirmed, as a major win for the Chinese company. Acer was the only company to respond to a request for comment by the publication, stating that while the company did not disclose its suppliers, we keep in close contact with multiple global manufacturers and suppliers to adjust operations to manage component price changes dramatically. We work with multiple manufacturers and suppliers to enhance our supply chain resilience. Notably, Acer did not deny the report. They didn't deny nor confirm the report. They pretty much just came out and said, you know, we got our suppliers. We're not going to tell you who they are, but yeah. CXMT recently posted a 466% leap in its share price following its IPO in Shanghai. The company indicated that the majority of its investment is focused on water lines. What? Water lines and process upgrades for DRAM, rather than the lucrative HBM needed for AI data centers. With memory supply constrained, Apple has reportedly been lobbying the US government for permission to buy CXMT chips. The latest report further hints at demand for the fourth player in the memory market to ease supply issues. So far, I haven't heard anything incredibly good about the CXMT RAM. Like, I know they're trying to fill the gap that the big three left while they make AI RAM, but there was one report I seen where one kit of the CXMT DDR5 RAM was like $500 and something. I'm like, that crap's more expensive than the other crap. Like, if it's that expensive, I might as well just get the freaking big three, which, I mean, I live in the US, so I don't have a choice but to get the big three because of the whole US-China thing. I'm just gonna move on to the next article. That was pretty much it for that article. Next is Asus, Gigabyte, and MSI reportedly plan motherboard price increases for Q3 of 2026. I about had a shit fit when I read this. Like, you gotta be kidding me, man. Like, the motherboards was one of the few things that hadn't went up since the whole AI crap. And here we fucking go with the motherboards. Like, we can't have nothing cheap in PC market except for air coolers. Anyway, it says here, Asus, Gigabyte, and MSI are reportedly preparing another round of motherboard price increases for the third quarter of 2026. The information comes from board channels focused on graphics card and motherboard distribution. According to the report, prices for PCBs used in consumer motherboards are expected to rise by at least 50% during 2026. Why? Who knows? Like, there's no well, I don't know. There might be some memory chips in the PCBs, but not many. Oh, cost for copper surface mount capacitors, power components, and supporting controller chips have also increased. Everything's going up. Every freaking thing. Lower shipments put more pressure on margins. The price increases come as demand for DIY PC hardware continues to weaken. That's because it's getting too damn expensive for DIY PC hardware. Motherboard shipments have declined, leaving manufacturers with fewer units across which to distribute. Higher development, production, and logistics costs, perhaps launching tens, if not hundreds of models for current gen sockets didn't make it easier. Well, if you've seen a downgrade in people buying motherboards, then why would you? Never mind. Board channels claim that manufacturers have struggled to pass the full cost increase to customers. Asus, Gigabyte, and MSI are therefore expected to adjust channel pricing during Q3 to restore margins for themselves and downstream distributors. There's hardly a reason to buy new motherboards. One thing to note is that CPU makers have made little effort this year to persuade customers to build new PCs. The Core Ultra 200 series is pretty much the end of the road for major CPU releases on Intel's current platform. While AMD did not mention consumer Zen 6 processors at either Computex or Advancing AI, instead they announced refreshed models, most out of the budget for consumer PC users, or budget for casual PC users, at higher memory prices, and there's hardly any reason to upgrade right now, which is not a lie. The irony is that many new motherboard features have focused on memory support, while rising motherboard prices will only reduce interest further. That's what I just got done saying. Like, people are barely buying your motherboards as it is, and now you're gonna raise the prices? Like, that's just fuck. It's dumb. It's dumb. But from a business standpoint, I understand. I mean, they gotta make money. I think they're just used to making so much money on motherboards that they didn't want the rise in their component prices eating into their freaking profits, so they want to charge us more. Well, that's going to eat into your profits even more, because now we ain't going to buy your damn junk. I say junk, but I got MSI. MSI X870E Carbon in my streaming, or my gaming / content creation PC. So, but I bought that before the price hikes. Not that it was cheap, but it looks nice and it works good. I couldn't ask for more. That's the end of that article. So, I'm gonna fire off with one more article, and then I'll catch up with live chat. Okay, guys. 16 gigabyte GPUs and 8-core CPUs officially become the most popular configs according to this latest Steam hardware survey, as it shows modern gaming growing hunger for more resources. The new era is officially here, ordained by what? It says here, the results of the July 2026 show that 16 gigabyte GPUs are now represent over 25% of all Steam users, just edging out the 8 gigabyte GPUs that don't even sit a whole percentage lower. In June, 16 gigabyte GPUs were at like 24%. So they gained a whole almost a 1.5% in a month, while 8 gigabyte GPUs lost about almost a 0.5% at the same time. This is the first month in the storefront's history where 8 gigabytes of VRAM is no longer considered enough, according to Steam. Closing the book on this debate in a rather definitive way, keep in mind that these numbers combine all Steam instances across Windows, Linux, and Mac. When it comes to processors, the need to move away from the 6-core chips hasn't really been a focus of concern since they're still enough for gaming. It was not long ago that Intel was refreshing the same quad-core CPUs year after year until AMD resurgence pushed the industry out of stagnation. This is evident by the fact that 4-core CPUs still enjoy a 13.2% share of the pie. Really? But today it's clear that the shift has begun, as Steam's most recent data shows 27.85% of the user base is rocking a 8-core CPU, while only 27.52% are rocking 6-core CPUs, meaning 16 gigabytes of VRAM graphics cards and 8-core CPUs are now pretty much the meta for Steam for gaming. We knew it was coming. Once again, it's the first time this precedence has shifted, as 8-core chips became 0.32% more popular this month compared to last month, the most of any config, while 6-core chips lost 0.12% of their adoption. The extreme popularity of the X3D chips for gaming is partly responsible for that, since the 5800 X3D and then the 7800 X3D and now the 9800 X3D all feature 8 cores and 16 threads. Intel's hybrid architecture makes it so that pretty much none of its mid-range or high-end chips have exactly 8 cores, though many have 8 P cores. I can't stand the way Intel does their core count, the core and thread count on their CPUs. It drives me nuts, because they split it up into freaking like 8P and there's other ones. It's just fucking annoying. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Customers have heavily prefer to buy a 16 gigabyte GPU nowadays, and of course with the X3D chips having 8 cores, 16 threads, I mean, those are rocking performance right now. All right, Beer Bombs, there you are, buddy. What's going on, man? Good to see you here. Sorry, I missed your chat like freaking 20 minutes ago. I didn't think I'd been talking that damn long. Ads start in 10 minutes. Damn. Good to see you here, Bear Bombs. You guys hit me up in the live chat, Twitch, Kick, YouTube. I do come back to the live chat and catch up. Sorry, I've read too many articles, Beer Bombs, and I didn't get to reading that till just now. Usually I come back after every article, but tonight you guys ain't really been talking all that much, so and we got a ton of news, so I've just been rapid firing them. Alright, you keep hitting me up, Beer Bums. The rest of you guys, Twitch, Kick, YouTube, hit me up in that live chat. I will be back to look at it here in a minute. Let's get back to the articles. Because we're getting to the juicy part now. Memory capacity for all of 2027 has reportedly been booked and sold, with no more DRAM or HBM available. According to a new report, Samsung, SK Hynix, and Micron's DRAM and HBM memory capacity for 2027 is now sold out with no additional supply available. This is not sounding good, guys. Look, if all of next year's RAM is already sold, like, by that logic, then like any RAM sticks are going to be, it seems like we're going to get into a phase where we were with GPUs and consoles a few years back. I think we're about to see a little bit of time go by where we just can't find any freaking RAM. It's gonna be a little rough. Gonna get worse before it gets better, apparently. According to Taiwanese outlet Digitimes. Motherfucker, get out of my way. Citing industry insiders as a source, the big three memory suppliers have reportedly allocated all of 2027's DRAM and HBM capacity. Essentially, this means that all memory on track to be manufactured in 2027 by Samsung, SK Hynix, and Micron is now sold out with no additional supply planned. Naturally, this is driven by the current AI boom and several predictions that state that 2027 is set to be the worst year on record for memory supply. Yeah, it definitely sounds like next year is going to be terrible. So if you guys want to upgrade your memory in your PCs, you might want to do it now before supply runs out. As far as us PC builders go, we just might be effed. It's a good thing I got the repair side of the business. Because it seems like the repair side of the business is going to have to keep me afloat. Hopefully none of my customers need RAM. That would suck ass. Alright. And several... Alright, hold on. Demand far exceeds supply, and memory makers are signing LTAs, long-term agreements, with companies to supply memory for up to 5 years. The situation is pretty dire. Traditionally, July and August are when companies secure memory for the following year. So it's looking increasingly likely that several companies won't be able to get the memory that they need for 2027, and when it comes to the big AI companies and hyperscalers buying up vast quantities of HBM, the report notes that some of these firms, without naming them specifically, have resorted to begging for supply. And that's obtaining supply while paying a lot more. Yeah. I figured that much. Yeah, that's about the end of that article. Yeah, it's going to get worse before it gets better, guys. If you need RAM, you better get it now. Because right now it's looking like 2027, we're going to have a hard time finding, I'm guessing, any kind of RAM. Because I mean, it's the same manufacturers that make DDR4 and 5 and all the DDRs, really. So, you know, we're we're pretty effed. Anyway, next. No, wait a minute. Have you replied, Beer Bums? You're all good? That's good to hear, buddy. Glad to see you're here. Glad you're all good. Hopefully you guys are finding this information helpful. If you are, make sure you hit that follow button on Twitch or Kick, depending on where you're watching. If you want to help support the channel, get ad-free viewing, stickers, emotes, all that good extra stuff that you usually get with subscriptions, then consider subscribing on Twitch or Kick. It is much appreciated. And you guys on YouTube, you guys know the drill over there. Like button, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Do I have to tell you guys that all the time? Don't worry, guys. Let's get to the next article. We're about 3 minutes from an ad break. Actually, I'm gonna snooze this freaking ad break. Alright. Assassin's Creed Valhalla's director has returned to Ubisoft and is now the game director for the Assassin's Creed brand. That guy just got his job secured, you know. He's the director for the entire brand of Assassin's Creed. So, yeah. Eric, however you say his last name. Eric left Ubisoft 5 years ago to direct the Dead Space remake. The veteran Assassin's Creed developer has returned to Ubisoft after 5 years and become the director of the Assassin's Creed brand. In 2005, he joined Ubisoft in 2005 and stayed there for 16 years. During that time, he was lead game designer for the Assassin's Creed Unity project, lead on game design on Assassin's Creed Origins, and game director on Assassin's Creed Valhalla. After this, he left Ubisoft and joined EA's Motive Studio, where he was game director on the critically acclaimed Dead Space remake, well as one of the game design directors on Battlefield 6, now as announced on LinkedIn by Assassin's Creed head of content Gene, however you say his last name. Why does every guy have a weird ass freaking last name that I can't pronounce? Anyway, the other guy that I can't pronounce returned to Ubisoft after 5 years to lead on game direction for the series going forwards. So, yeah. There's that. Let's get to the next article. That one wasn't real long. We might be able to kick another one out before the ad break. 5 minutes? Oh yeah, we got time. Especially for this. This ain't a real long article either. The long-awaited Switch 2 version of Diablo 4 is reportedly coming in September, so if you guys have been looking forward to that, it's been 1.5 years since the initial reports of the Switch 2 port was coming. The long-reported Switch 2 version of Diablo 4 is set to release next month, it's been claimed. Deal Labs writer Bill Buchan, who has an extremely lengthy and accurate record of leaking hardware and software news before it's officially announced, said that the game is indeed nearing completion on Switch 2. According to the insider, the Switch 2 Diablo port of Diablo 4 will be released on September 15th or September 18th. We cannot yet guarantee which of the two is correct but the release will definitely be one of these two dates, they said. The game will be available at the full $70 price tag and will reportedly also have a physical release. Way to go, Nintendo. But it will be a code in a box rather than a cartridge or game key card. I should have kept my mouth shut. It really irks me that they're still charging $70 for a game that we don't get a disc for. Like that just irks my bones. Like if I'm not getting a motherfucking physical copy of the fucking game, then the price of that freaking game should be effing cheaper. Sorry, rant over. It's also not yet confirmed whether the Switch 2 version will include the Lord of Hatred DLC or whether it will be in a separate purchase. Oh, it'd definitely be in a separate purchase. We freaking know that. This announcement is likely made because they've suggested it might happen during Gamescom at the end of the month, given that Xbox has already said there will be a booth at the show to celebrate its 25th anniversary. Now, you guys might be wondering what kind of performance we can expect from this Switch 2 version of the game. Well, shit, I thought it said it in this article. It don't. No, it don't. Mother effer. Okay. I don't remember exactly what the specs were, but they suck, I can tell you that. Maybe this one would say. Okay, maybe I have to be more specific. Performance. Blizzard has confirmed that Diablo 4 is technically capable of running on the Nintendo Switch 2. Really? FPS performance. Maybe they'll freaking tell me what I want to know. That's not what I wanted to know. Okay, I'm having a hard time finding it. Cadet told me about it earlier. Of course, I can't fucking find it when I want to find it. It's supposed to get like 60 frames per second in docked mode in 1080p on the Switch. If it's not docked, your FPS drops to about 40 to 45 FPS. Not solid performance. We have ads starting soon. So I'm gonna take a real quick bathroom break while you guys watch the ads. Thank you guys for you guys that watch the ads, and Don't go where. I'll be right back, guys. Remember, if you're hearing me right now, then hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. Don't forget to hit that bell icon. On Kick, I know you guys are hearing me. Hit that follow button if you are enjoying this live stream. And hit the subscribe button if you'd like to support the channel. Get ad-free viewing, all the sub goodies. And you guys on Twitch, well, if you hear me, you know the drill. Do it. I'll be right back, guys. Hi guys, we're back. We're back from ads too, so at least I'm pretty sure we are. I think my widget's up here. I think that widget's broken. It hadn't been right here lately, so anyway, how's everybody doing? Y'all hit me up in that live chat, Twitch, Kick, YouTube. Come on, guys. Alright. Well, while you guys figure out whether you want to talk or not, let's get back to the news, shall we? Yeah, the performance of this is not great. So actually, let me hold on. I might be able to. Oh, hold on a second. I need to. Sorry, guys. I gotta take the news off the screen for a second. Alright, guys. Let's see if I can find that juicy information for you. Yeah, according to Cadet, um, it says here, actually I can bring this up on screen for you guys. And this is straight from Cadet himself. It says Diablo 4 is reportedly coming to Nintendo Switch 2 in mid-September, while Blizzard is yet to reveal official targets. Industry sources and hardware and analysts anticipate a performance target of 1080p at 60 frames per second in docked mode. You have to have the damn thing docked to get 1080p 60 FPS. And with 30 to 40, my bad, I gave it better than it was supposed to. And with 30 to 40 frames per second benchmarks expected in more demanding scenes or in handheld settings. That is just absolutely ridiculous. Give me 1 second, guys. I gotta swap it over. But yeah, I mean, that crappy of performance out of a brand new game. I mean, right now it's just analysts pretty much taking the specs and figuring out. It'll be interesting to see see what it actually does when it comes out. I'm not gonna hold my breath though. We could be in store for a rather crappy version of Diablo 4 for the Switch too. You can always play it on PC though. You get a lot more FPS. Then you can get you a handheld freaking device and like a Steam Deck or the Asus Xbox Ally thing, and then you'll be able to play Diablo 4 on a handheld that won't be locked at freaking crappy frames per second. Alright, let's get to the next article, shall we? Oh, no. Good thing I can bring that back. That one company claims that LiquidJet can drop Nvidia Rubin GPU temperatures by 10°C, can also boost performance by 15% as hyperscalers eye using deleting GPUs in production environment. The higher the temperature, the higher the leakage power and lower the efficiency. It is not a secret that proper cooling ensures longevity and enables hardware to demonstrate its full potential. But when it comes to data centers, AI hardware, proper cooling means higher sustain. Oh, that's what this is about? AI fucking GPUs? I don't know. Okay, I don't care about that. Like FAI. Okay. That's the reason why we ain't gonna get any good RAM for the foreseeable future. Alright guys. I think this is the last one. Nvidia cancels a $4,600 order for a GeForce RTX 5090 after Asus rejects pre-price hike pricing. New order cost $5,100. Freaking ridiculous. The RTX 5090 buyer loses order after Asus raises price by 12.5%. Look at that beautiful card. Beautiful graphics card. Not arguing that fact. I do argue the fact that it's not worth $5,000 or $4,000 for that matter. Price of those freaking 5090s were outrageous to begin with, and now it's just dumb. This is one of the most ridiculous RTX 5090 pricing stories yet. The GPU was supposed to cost $1,999, but due to the AI craze, most custom models have already doubled that figure. One Asus card has now reached the meme price of roughly $5,090 after tax. In order to get a 5090, you have to give me $5,090. A 5090 for 5090. A level usually associated with launch limited edition models such as the MSI Lightning. For one Reddit user, the price is not a joke. He says an Asus ROG Astral GeForce RTX 5090 BTF. Boy, that's a freaking mouthful. Ordered through Nvidia's official marketplace was canceled after Asus raised the price. Nvidia customer support reportedly confirmed that Asus refused to fulfill the order at the original amount, even though that's the amount it was sold at. Talk about bad business. That being said, despite the purchase being placed before the new price appeared, the customer placed the order at $4,429 before tax. The final charge was $4,607. Nvidia later canceled the purchase and issued a full refund. Asus price rises by $553. The same card is now listed for $4,982. This represents a $553 increase, or around 12.5%. The customer estimates that placing the order again would cost roughly $5,100 after tax. And this is what Nvidia sent to that customer. After checking with Asus for clarification, we were informed that the price change update was provided to us a little late. As a result, when you placed the order at the older price, Asus canceled the order because they were unable to fulfill it at the previous price rate. We understand your frustration, especially since the order was placed before the updated price appeared on our website. We did request Asus to honor your original order. However, they were unable to fulfill the request at the previous price at this time. Unfortunately, we are unable to make any further changes to the canceled order from our end or place a new order at the old rate. Best regards, Nvidia customer care. That's just terrible business. If you order something for a price, or you buy something for a certain price, like, they shouldn't be allowed to just cancel your shit and jack the price up. And in some countries, that's actually illegal. According to the support response shared by the buyer, Asus provided Nvidia with the pricing update after the order had been placed. Asus canceled the order. All that good shit. See? User did not mention where the order took place, but in some countries, this would already be illegal. Nvidia says it asked Asus to honor the original price. The graphics card maker reportedly rejected the request. Nvidia also said it could not restore the canceled order or create a replacement order using the older price. I can imagine if the user was influential enough, the card would be free, but here we have someone paying $4,600 and Nvidia won't even help you fulfill the order. It's effing ridiculous, man. Like you ain't telling me that Nvidia couldn't have pulled some strings for this guy. Yes, I know Nvidia only makes the chip. They sell the chip to Asus. Asus makes the freaking PCB, the fans, all that good crap. But they wouldn't be making all that money and crap if Nvidia didn't supply them with the chip in the first place. And what's even worse is what I'm about to read. Nvidia and Asus direct customer between support teams. The buyer says Asus initially denied responsibility and redirected the case to Nvidia. Nvidia maintained that Asus handled the fulfillment and made the cancellation decision. So they're just pointing the finger at each other. This remains an individual customer report, and neither Nvidia nor Asus has issued a public statement about the case. However, the support email directly attributes the cancellation to Asus and the price change supplied after the order was submitted. It's just terrible business. For any company that is making freaking money hand over fist, yeah, for any company making money hand over fist, for you to just blatantly do that to your customer, I mean, it's terrible. But yeah, hopefully something can get done about it, but I doubt it. Whenever crap like that happens, it rarely ever gets fixed. But we'll see. And I was actually wrong. There's one more article. And that's Xbox won't abandon Steam after all. Even though PlayStation said that they weren't going to bring any of their first party games to PC anymore, Xbox isn't abandoning Steam after all, and it's doubling down on the PC ecosystem with the Xbox app Battle.net. So they're not relinquishing their grip on the PC market at all. Xbox is going to put their games wherever in the hell they can put them to make money. They don't care. They ain't like PlayStation in that sense, where they can be picky and be like, oh no, I'm not going to put my games on PC, which, why PlayStation would do that, I have no idea. Well, I mean, I heard they said that they don't make as much money. They don't make that much money off the PC games. But that's bullshit. I know that's gotta be bullshit. Like, there's no way that they don't make a good amount of money off PC, porting their games to PC. For one, guess what, jackasses? You get your digital only when you sell it to us on a PC, because we ain't got a damn CD-ROM no more. Not that it would matter, because you wouldn't be making the damn disc anyway. But, yeah. PlayStation's just shooting themselves in the foot. Anyway, enough about their stupid asses. A couple of days ago, Windows Central Jez Corden suggested that Xbox might stop releasing PC games on Valve's Steam at some point in the future as part of its new PC gaming strategy. Today, in a new report, Corden is setting the record straight after checking with his sources. Again, the latest article confirms that Xbox doesn't actually have any such plans. However, there are a few changes in how Xbox games will show up across the platform's many stores. To start with, Battle.net is reportedly opening up to third-party developers. Gordon says this plan has been in place for a while, but adds there is no indication it has changed under the new management of the new CEO Asha Sharma. Battle.net was traditionally used exclusively for Blizzard games, but over the years it has added other Activision titles like Call of Duty. After Microsoft acquisition, Xbox published titles such as Obsidian's The Outer Worlds 2 and Avowed, as well as Software ID's Doom: The Dark Ages. The report also confirms that a program codenamed Piscitron will soon allow users to convert their physical game disc into digital licenses for a game. This program is expected to be publicly unveiled by Microsoft later this month, so we won't have to wait long to learn how exactly it's going to work. Lastly, Corden heard that Microsoft is continuing to invest heavily in the Xbox PC app, Play Anywhere backwards compatibility on PC, and deeper integration with various third-party launchers like Ubisoft Connect and the EA app. The one thing I'm interested in seeing is what's going to happen with the EA app now and Microsoft. Like, Microsoft's always had the EA app as part of their kind of ecosystem, sort of. But now that EA isn't a publicly traded company anymore, and it's literally owned by private investors in Saudi Arabia. It's gonna be interesting to see if the Microsoft EA partnership stays going the way it's going, or if it completely gets changed with EA's new ownership. Everything considered, the new report makes the picture far less dramatic than the initial speculation suggested. Xbox is not preparing to abandon Steam, which would have been a disastrous move. That would have been the final nail in the Xbox coffin right there. If they decided to stop putting their games on Steam, like, you might as well just jump off a freaking cliff. Like, that would kill Xbox completely. Just gone. It's done. But Microsoft does appear to be investing in a broader PC ecosystem around the Xbox app, Game Pass, Battle.net, Play Anywhere, and its own account infrastructure. The goal seems to be giving players and publishers more connected ways to buy, access, and carry games across Xbox consoles and PC, rather than forcing them away from Valve's enormously popular storefront. The approach makes actual business sense. Pulling first-party games from Steam would mean walking away from a huge PC audience and significant sales revenue, while strengthening Microsoft's own platforms can still create new revenue opportunities without requiring that risk. As Xbox moves forward its next generation hardware plans, the company seems intent on making its PC presence more competitive, interoperable, and useful. The Steam must be part of that equation. especially given that Project Helix is supposed to run Steam games as well. Wow. So, yeah, that actually is the last article, guys. That was the juicy bits. 3 hours later, almost 3 hours later, we're finally done with the gaming news. I gotta get better at getting these articles. If you guys are here, hit me on that live chat. I'm not gonna stay live for much longer. Matter of fact, we've got 9 minutes until an ad break. So that seems like a good time to end the stream. We got 9 minutes. So Twitch, Kick, YouTube, hit me on that live chat. Did you guys enjoy the live stream? Did you guys find any of this helpful? Is there anything that you guys would like me to look into? I'm all about bringing you guys value and the gaming news. If there's something gaming news related though that you would like me to look into, let me know. Shoot me a message on Twitch, or comment on the live stream on YouTube. Just let me know what you guys would like me to look into. I'll look into it. I ain't got no problem with that. Add it to the gaming news. Right now it's kind of cool. Like, Cadet sends me articles every so often, and here lately I've been seeing the article. I always take a screenshot of it with my phone so I can pull it up here for you guys on Gaming News Wednesday. But sorry guys. What the hell was I talking about? Now I done lost my train of thought. Oh yeah. Here lately I've been looking at my phone. I'll see the news article. I'll take a screenshot, save it for later. And usually it's been funny here lately. Like, he'll send me an article about an article I just looked at like an hour ago. It's happened like several times. I actually told him about it today. I'm like, man, this is funny. It's like every time I look at an article, like an hour later, you send it to me. Alright, guys. I think I'm going to get off here. You guys ain't hit me up in the live chat, and I'm exhausted. I need to go to bed. I actually took a little bit of a nap before the live stream, which didn't help me make it live on time either. But I had to catch a little bit of a nap, but it wasn't much of a nap, so I appreciate you guys. Thank you for staying up late with me, and hopefully you guys found value in this live stream and in the information that I gave you guys during this live stream. Some of it wasn't great, some of it absolutely sucked, and then there was some good news. Like Xbox ain't abandoning PC, so that's always good news. Unfortunately, we might not get no RAM next year. Things are gonna get worse before they get better as far as the PC hardware market goes. Like I said, it's a good thing my PC business isn't strictly selling PC related Otherwise, I'd be screwed. I just hope that customers that call me out to fix their PCs don't need RAM. Because I ain't got none. My supply is out. Well, actually, I do have one, but it don't work. I got one 16 gig stick of DDR4, but it does not work. At least it didn't the last time I tried it anyway. But yeah, there's that. I don't have any good RAM. that works, except for what's in my PCs, which ain't going nowhere. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. I got an ad that's starting in 4 minutes, so, and I'm tired, so thank you guys so much for staying up late with me. You guys on Twitch and Kick, make sure you hit that follow button so you know when I go live again. Consider hitting that subscribe button if you want subscriber only perks. You guys on YouTube, you guys know the drill over there. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget about the bell icon so you know when I go live again. In case you guys are wondering when I'm going to go live again, that's going to be tomorrow. Tomorrow night, 11 p.m. Eastern, where we will be playing the end of Metal Gear Rising. I say that with definite confidence because, well, I'm off Friday and my son's got school, so if I have to, I mean, I'll just stay up, beat the freaking game for you guys, put him on the bus, and then pass the F out. Hopefully we don't have to stay up that late, though. We're pretty close to the end, so I don't think it's going to take that long to beat the rest of the game. We'll see. I haven't actually made it this far, so it's fun. I can't wait to show you guys the end of Metal Gear Rising tomorrow night. Don't miss it. Right here on this Twitch and this YouTube, you guys, or this Twitch and this Kick, you guys get all the live streams, depending, no matter what YouTube channel I'm on. You guys on the Nickelback Gaming News channel that are watching, in order for you guys to watch on YouTube tomorrow night at 11 p.m. Eastern, you will have to go over to the OG Nickelback Gaming channel. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button over there as well. And yeah, that's where we will be live at 11 p.m. tomorrow, is on the regular Nickelback Gaming YouTube channel. I have 3 YouTube channels: Nickelback Gaming News, Nickelback Gaming Tech, and just Nickelback Gaming. So feel free to visit those. Hit the like and subscribe buttons if you like. There's going to be a lot more content coming video wise on all 3 channels, and of course there's going to be 1 live stream per channel per week moving forward. So yeah, I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in and hanging out with me. I'm going to get off here. You guys have a good night. Have a good rest of your week if I don't see you tomorrow night. If I don't see you tomorrow night, the next time I'm going to be live is for Sippin' Saturday. This Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be playing some more Spider-Man Miles Morales. But I appreciate you guys. Thank you. I got to get off here. You guys have a good one, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, 11 p.m. Eastern, for Throwback Thursday. Until then, peace.